In previous videos, we've talked a bit about sidebars and how they appear on different pages and post types. So we've touched on them at a basic level in terms of how to add elements to widgets, but we haven't really talked about where do sidebars appear, on which pages, and how do we control what's displayed on those pages. To do that, I'm going to navigate to the back end of the site, so the administrator dashboard as a site administrator for an LP platform. And I'm going to go into design and then widgets. Now for this demonstration, it's going to help if we can have the site open in another tab so I can go back and forth to show you exactly how things work. So first, let's start off by going to the blog page. You can see on this page there is a sidebar with a search widget. Actually, let's show what's there. Search widget, recent posts, and categories. So they're all there. Now, how did they get here? So this is actually just another page that can be edited that populates blog posts and a sidebar. So you can see here what's happening on this page is underneath this full width header here, there is a section with a blog module here and a sidebar here. So this is a little different than how they're managed on other post types, and I'll show you the difference in just a minute. So first I just want to recap, like if you are doing anything with the blog, you can see there are a number of controls here in the blog module that's part of the Divi Builder. So if we wanted to change how many excerpts we wanted, or how many posts we wanted to show, that would be included here. We can only include certain categories. We can turn on or off the featured image. We can include or not include an excerpt. Maybe I want to read more button. So there's a lot that we can control from here. So I'm going to save that, and then what's in here, the sidebar module settings. So we put the sidebar in here. We've got it on the right side, and the widget area is sidebar. So if we switch back to here again, widget area is sidebar. So that is exactly where that's coming from. We've explicitly defined it. That doesn't happen on too many pages. It does happen on the dashboard page as well, which I'll show you. But for most other post types, so like anything in your courses, store, forums, quizzes, other things like that, achievements too, they have their own dedicated sidebars, which we'll look at very shortly. So, but for some pages, you can define a custom sidebar. You can even create your own widget area for the sidebar. And then we'd be able to go into a page like this and choose it from the drop-down list, and then we could use whichever custom one we were using. So let me go ahead and update that really quickly. And what I'm going to do then, I'm going to switch back to the front end. So I'm going to switch back to the blog view. So here, there is a link now to read more. It's kind of basic though, it doesn't really work. This could always be styled with CSS. That's how you would customize the site, and if you're not satisfied with something the way that it is out of the box, CSS is always an option. So let's go in again so we don't really need that read more link anyway, but let's go back into this blog post. So we've got the blog post now, and now we can see the same sidebar widgets are displayed. So let's take a look at why it's displaying these ones in particular. And the reason is, first, it's showing a widget, or showing a sidebar at all because we've defined here that there will be a sidebar. And then because this is a generic one, so it's not going to fall under the explicit definitions I'll show in just a second, this is kind of a catch-all. So this sidebar widget area is essentially a catch-all for anything that's not defined, like blog posts. It would use this sidebar if a sidebar is set for the page. So the page is set to use a sidebar. Now, some other post types are different, as I mentioned. So let's go back into the course dashboard again. You can see that this one is different. So you may be wondering, why is this using a different sidebar then? This is also a page. Where is this defined? So if I edit this one really quickly, and let's do that now, then what's going to happen is you can see there's nothing up there because this is a page. It works a bit differently than posts. And if I go down to the builder, you can see again, just like on that blog archive page we had, we've got a widget defined. So there's a sidebar module in the Divi Builder, there's a widget area that's set here, and now it's set to Learn-Sidebar. So that's a little different. Let's take a look at that one. So Learn-Sidebar, if we expand that, it's got this course progress widget, course navigation widget, and then achievements. So that might be confusing because if you remember when we look at the page, it only showed the achievements. The reason for that is when you're trying to use Learn-Course widgets on a non-Learn- page, they won't display. In this case, like there is no course to show progress for. There is no course to show navigation for. It's not until you actually get into the course that we're able to look up, which course you're in, what's your progress in that course. So if I go back into the sample one that we created, you can see now it's using the same widget, or the same widget area, so the same sidebar, but it is now showing the two other sections because we're inside a course and the system can do that lookup to map the course to the widgets. So because we're on that page, it knows which course we're in and it can show the appropriate widgets. Now, let's say that you didn't want to show one of these things. Maybe you don't like showing course progress to users. You just want them to go in and complete things. Then that's completely possible. So in that case, we would go to the Learn-Sidebar widget area, and let's say we want to remove course progress. So it's just a matter of taking this widget and deleting it. And as soon as we do that and reload the page, then it's gone. It's no longer part of that. So I do actually want it there, so I'm going to put that back. So once again, that was the course progress bar. I just have to drag it up from the available widgets section on the left over to one of the widget areas on the right. And I'll call this one course progress. Save that again, refresh the page, and it's back again. So things do change. You can see back on the widget area page, there are a number of options here. So there is the generic sidebar that can be used across the site. We have these 4 widget areas. Currently the site, the way I'd set it up from one of the earlier videos was to use a 3-column footer. So only the first 3 widget areas are actually being used for this. But it can be 4, and you can change that in the customizer. Then beneath that, we've got the Learn-Sidebar. So out of the box, this is shown by default on course pages, lesson pages, and topic pages. Next, we've got the Store sidebar, which we show on product pages. So if you're using e-commerce on your site and you're setting up products and you're using a sidebar on your product pages, that's the sidebar. Right now, if I expand that, you can see there's nothing there. But if you are using a sidebar, just put widgets there and they will show up on those pages. The dashboard sidebar is a custom widget area. Right now it's not being used, but you could use this as an alternative if you wanted, instead of the Learn-Sidebar. So if you wanted to switch it out, you could modify the course dashboard so the My Courses page, switch the module in there for the sidebar. So if we went back here, just as an example here, let's go back up to My Courses. That's what I wanted. And here, if we just edit it, then you can see there is the module in there. So let me just scroll down. The module in there for the sidebar, and just switch the widget area to the dashboard sidebar. The forum one applies to forum pages as well as topic pages. So in replies and forum topics, that's where this one shows up. Quizzes, again, obviously for quizzes, and assignments for assignments, currently showing achievements on there. And then there is an achievements one too. So if you go to badge pages and have a sidebar showing, that's when this widget widget area would apply. So again, lots of customization options based on the type of page that you're on. You can just set up those widget areas and then it would display them on the relevant pages. So this essentially concludes how you would set up your sidebars and widgets on the site, and hopefully gives you a better understanding of where they appear and why and how you can make customizations to them.